Alright folks, we're out here in Southern California today. This is Chef Jerky, Aaron Anderson. We're out here for some Jerky TV. We're playing with our mini bikes. I haven't done any videos in a while, and I decided that my backyard would be a good place to start riding mini bikes. So now we've joined the rest of the country and we're going mini bike crazy in the backyard here. So with a little bit of introduction on mini bikes, let's go through the tutorial and let's do an introduction. And you've already seen the box opening, so you probably start out here on the life started out on the 50. Let us mind you that this was brought to you by Superhero Jerky. Okay, this whole introduction film mini bike backyard gig. This is okay. Thank you there, my assistant today. All right, so the first bike we're going to introduce to you is the Omaha 50. This first started out with fast 50s. These are on 10-inch wheels, and it starts out, you want anybody from 5 years old to 8 years old can ride these things and race these things. They sell everything for them. You can spend anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 on one of these, and 50s are pretty cool. They're a first step up, and this one's got the Pro Taper front head on it and a little bit of lifted shock in the back, and makes it a lot nicer. We're going to take it for a ride, and we're going to show you some pros and cons of the 50. Then the next bike we're going to show you is the 110. This bike is famous. This is the Honda 110. These retail now for $3,250 out the door in 2020. This bike's got a lifted rear shock in it already, and it's already got the BBR front fork set up. It is the lowest bike of all the three, and it's probably the most expensive. Well, being $3,250 out the door, it is the most expensive, but it also has the lowest seat height and probably the stiffest suspension. This bike also has got a Yosh pipe on it. It's not really, you don't see that much race sag there. I'm pushing on it. The shock is definitely set for the softest setting. And as you can see, it's not really moving that much. They put a little dust protector right here, which is cool. It keeps a rock from landing there, so when you hit the brake, if a rock got in here, then you wouldn't be able to hit the rear brake, so it's really smart of Honda to do that. We switched down to some mica tall bars. And we got the Emig Pro grips on here. This bike is electric start, and it's 4-speed up. It's probably the cruiser of the group, I'd definitely say. Then we'll move on to the Piranha 140. Move it out here. The Piranha is the first of the Chinese bikes, or not the first, but they've been around for a while. This one's a 140. It has a 730 millimeter front fork. Billet, very good quality triple clamps, good quality forks, adjustable dampening and rebound, just like a real motocross bike. The foot pedals, the brake pedal seems to be totally legit and billet. The frame seems to be bent in right here, which keeps the bike really skinny and narrow. They've done a really good job with that. It also has a bolt-on rear subframe, and the shock on these bikes is also 13 inches. It's got the biggest shock of the group. Hydraulic brakes. And as you'll see on the Piranha, that when I sit on it, it's actually gonna go down. Look at that race sag. It's got about 5 or 6 inches of travel. I haven't figured out exactly how much yet, but it's around there. And I like the plushness of the Piranha. The front forks seem to be a little stiff as I'm pushing on them with all my weight. You can see that they're very firm. And I have them at the softest setting, and they seem to be still real firm, ready to race, ready to do some triple jumps with. Comes with 7/8 bars. First quality on the triple clamps here. Look at the 2-bolt setup. Look at the quality here. It seems to be good stuff. People are buying this and building their pit bikes with these parts. And then we have the Apollo. Oh, the Apollo. Now this bike right here is the king because this bike only costs 560 bucks. And if you get it on a holiday special, you can get this bike, the delivery is free. So we got this for 575 bucks. I got free delivery. And every time I ride it, I'm like, this is cool because it's a $575 bike. Now, it totally runs. It hasn't given us nothing's broke. We've been riding it for about 2 weeks now. It's a little stiff in the rear end, but it's still really killer. It does have a 760 millimeter front fork on here, which is a little bit taller than the Piranha. It sits a little bit taller, but the quality isn't quite there. Look at the triple clamps and stuff, but I mean, what do you want for $550? I mean, this is killer for the price. And also the rear shock, it's got some race sag there. I took all the preload out. It also has a 13-inch rear shock in the rear. The shocks up front seem to be really plush. It seems to be about 7 inches of travel. And they are really plush. They're smooth. I almost want to say they're smoother than the Piranha. They're just really plush. The Apollo also comes with the big boy 1 1/8" triple clamps with the big bars. It comes with a metal gas tank. That's kind of a bummer. We haven't figured out who the manufacturer is to make the plastic gas tanks yet. We bought one, but it didn't fit. They said it did. They gave us our money back, so we gave it back. So here we go. It also has a keyed ignition, which is kind of cool. And I hear they sell these bikes in California that are also street legal. So they're also riding them street legal. This bike also comes with the flippable levers on both sides. Total flippable levers. And on, off, kickstart. And we really like the Apollo. It seems to be like a really good holding up bike. Everything's kind of good. Everything's in the right spot. The bike's pretty thin and narrow. And it hasn't broke yet. And that's all that really matters. Don't let it blow up or don't let it break. But Apollo seems to be having a good time on it. I think we should ride him now. I think that's what we should do. Let's let our. I want to see what a comparison would be like. We have our spectator with us today, Brody, and he's going to throw a leg over the Apollo here. Superhero Jerky. And Brody is 4'8", 65 pounds. So at 4'8", he can there's not a lot of race sag going on here. So the Apollo seems to be a little bit big with a 760 millimeter front fork. The Apollo seems to be a little big for him at 4'8". All right, hop off. Brody, let's try the Piranha. Now, 4'8", the Piranha seems to be a little more. He's flat-footed. His butt's on the seat. The bike's a little bit lower. This bike does have a 730 millimeter front fork, which is considerably shorter than the Apollo. Killer factory pipe, quality, good sprocket, good hubs, good spokes, aluminum wheels. Everything's tucked in. Nice 140 engine. Pull that clutch, Brody. Yeah, you can easily pull that clutch. That clutch is a piece of cake even for Brody to pull in. All right, Brody, pull that clutch in. All right. This clutch is so easy, it's so smooth. I gotta say that about Piranha. I mean, this motor is definitely plush, and the clutch feel is definitely, it feels like a hydraulic clutch. It really does. Pull the clutch in again. Yeah, it's really, that's easy to do. Rah, you'd be roosting it right there. Rah, be gone. So then, what else? All right, then let's go to the next bike here. All right, mind you, Brody's 4'8", 65 pounds. All right, throw a leg over the Honda. All right, so on the Honda, he's sitting down at 4'8". This bike does have a 2-inch lift kit. It's got a BBR lift kit on the front, and it has a custom shock in the back, which lifts the bike up. You can see that the kickstand's a little bit too short now. It's about 2 inches too short now, and the bike leans over a little bit, but that's okay. This is how the bike sits with the BBR setup. As you can see, Brody at 4'8", that's kind of good. He doesn't have to worry about a clutch. It's an automatic bike. It's a Honda. It's electric start, as the 50. The 50 is also electric start. These two motorcycles, the Piranha and the Apollo, Brody would have to kickstart. And I don't know if he could get them kick-started. We'll video that and see if he can fire them up. So it seems like the 110's a better fit. I mean, with the way it looks, and he's flat-footed on the ground. About this height is about perfect for him right now. You don't want to be too tall, I don't think. But okay, let's go on to the next one. So yeah, so you'd see that he's, you know, going on 11 years old. He's getting to be bigger. His knees are almost hitting the dashboard here when he puts on the bike. This bike's a little bit too big. This bike is made for someone from, you know, 4 years old to 8 years old. Once you're 8, you know, you're supposed to get off these. If you're an adult and you're riding these, you're gonna be a kid forever. That's the idea. You just ride mini bikes and keep riding mini bikes, and then just keep your youth. That's what I can say. It does keep my youth. That's why I have fun running about in the backyard. But Brody needs a bigger bike. But it's all in all, beautiful motorcycle, good actor. Okay, cut. All right, Brody, fire it up. There it is. No problem. And that's an electric start bike, so that would be only in case of an emergency would you have to actually fire it up. But it's good to know that it's 65 pounds, no problem. All right, so we have Brody on the Apollo getting ready to fire it up. All right, Brody, can you pull that clutch in? Just barely. Yeah, that clutch is pretty stiff. Those springs are really stiff. Okay, no problem there. All right, now see if you can fire it up. Go ahead. Give it a little gas. Give it all of 65 pounds. Yeah, I think what do you think, Brody?
Can't start it.
Can't start it? Okay, no problem. All right, so with all that compression, the 125 at 65 pounds, you might need an electric start.
That was all my weight.
And that was all of his weight. Yep. Thank you, Brody. All right, we got Brody on the 140. He's going to fire up. We'll see what happens here. All right, go for it, Brody. The 140 is a compression monster. No way. Okay, can't do it. Ready? Go. All right, so we've had a good time out here in the backyard. Welcome to my backyard. And I hope you've got a little intel on the mini bikes and what's going on, and some good times and what works and whatnot. And thanks for watching. Next thing to do is take these motocross bikes to the off-road track, to the MX track, and go catch some air. That'll be my next video, video number 2, mini bikes. Thank you for watching. Jerky TV. Thank you.